Oh, oh.
Good morning, Guam. Good morning, CNMI. We're going to bring you a special report out of the CNMI. If you were following the breaking news on Friday, the impeachment trial of Governor Ralph Torres is set for May 13 at 10 a.m. On Friday, the Senate and the CNMI was one vote shy of dismissing the articles of impeachment against Governor Ralph Torres. The Senate trial of the chief executive is now set for May 13, but again, it's coming amid some looming battles in Superior Court that could influence the outcome. Senator Hofschneider, Senator Carl King-Neighbor, Senator Francisco Cruz, and Senator Victor Holkog voted to dismiss the articles. Senators Teresita Santos, Paul Manglona, and Edith De Leon Guerrero voted to maintain them, while two senators, Vinny Sablan, who's running for lieutenant governor with Torres, and Senator Justo Quiriguao, who has familial ties to Torres, were absent, excused, and therefore did not cast their vote for the dismissal. What this means now is that the trial will move forward, but it will still not have an impeachment prosecutor or the 8,000 pages of impeachment records moving forward. We wanted to bring you some of the highlights from Friday's Senate hearing that involves this motion to dismiss. This first comment that we received was from the vice president of the CNMI Republican Party, who makes an interesting reference in his remarks, in his arguments as to why Governor Ralph Torres' motion to dismiss should have passed, but as we reported, it did in fact fail. Here's CNMI GOP Vice President Shane Villanueva.
Senators, my name is Shane Villanueva, and thank you to this honorable body for allowing me to speak here today. I really came here today to give my comment as a neutral and try to be as non-biased as possible. Today in the newspaper, if you didn't know, Honorable Judge Timothy Bellis denied the TRO to stop this hearing from happening. The reason for the denial is lack of evidence to stop this body from doing its job. The TRO was not even heard and stopped right in its tracks. In court with no evidence, no prosecutor, the court does not continue. They dismiss the case. Let's look here. Let's try to be non-biased. Let's look at this as if this was not the governor having a hearing today. And look at the facts and the evidence and see whether or not it is fair, just, and an honorable decision. Or if it is a political decision, unfair and biased. The prosecution is not here and have been asked several times in different capacities to be here. It is a shame as a voter in the CNMI that we do not get to hear their side in one of the final hearings. And by choice, they did not decide to plead their case. We do not get to hear the prosecution who has taken the CNMI on this journey over the last 3 years. I do not want to even begin to think of the cost to the CNMI that this brought upon us here. Just to not hear them plead their case and show the evidence. If we were to look at this impartially, and if someone else, anyone was on trial here as a judge or jury, you will understand that if there is no evidence and there is no prosecutor, you must dismiss. If you do not dismiss today, then we know as a people who are tired of the impeachment hearings that the biased decision being placed forth, you must dismiss. Don't make it political. Don't make it about anything else other than doing your jobs today. All of you today should understand very simply, just as Johnny Cochran once said in the case for OJ, if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. Or in this case, if the prosecution doesn't show, then this must go.
Have it, the CNMI GOP party saying if the glove does not fit, you must acquit. If the prosecution does not show, it must go. That was, again, the CNMI Republican leadership, Shane Villanueva, saying he's offering some neutral testimony. And perhaps some other testimony that has sought to set the record straight comes from CNMI Representative Karina McGuffney, who, as you know, was one of the last people appointed by the Senate to serve as the prosecutor. But that did not happen. She said she took to the podium and wanted to express her concerns and set the record straight and call out the Senate president himself in public. So here's her testimony on Friday.
Everyone, for the record, my name is Karina McGuffney, and I'm a House member of the 22nd Legislature. Mr. Senate President, I am here to set the record straight. On March 30th, at approximately 2:29 p.m., I filed my notice to appear. Your office received this notice. You should be aware of this notice. Whether you choose to acknowledge them or not, the facts are the facts. To the people of the CNMI, I would like to clear the record. I did file and submit my response to the Senate clerk on the day it was due, at least 2 hours before the deadline. And I have a copy of this document to prove it, right here. I don't appreciate, Senator Hofschneider, you telling the public that I failed to timely file an appearance, because it's simply not true. As you can see, I do have the document right here. In fact, the House of Representatives filed a timely notice to appear with our team of House impeachment prosecutors. And the team I'm referring to are Reps BJ Acto, Selena Babauta, Leila Staffler, Donald Manglona, and myself.
Was Representative Karina McGuffney again reminding the public that she in fact did file a notice to appearance, but perhaps not to the Senate's liking, given that it was a team of 5 prosecutors and the current rules only allow for 1 prosecutor. Jason, yesterday and on Friday, Tina Sablan also took to the podium because part of the motion to dismiss was also largely reliant on her involvement in what the Republicans are saying are her conflicts of interest as a gubernatorial candidate. So she didn't pull any punches in her speech. Wanted to share her response to some of the criticism of her involvement as a House lawmaker in this impeachment proceeding.
Thank you. The item before us. Thank you. Thank you. The item before us. Thank you.
Good morning, members of the Senate. My name is Tina Sablan. I'm a member of the House. Governor Torres says he has nothing to hide. He says he's done nothing illegal, but his actions speak louder than his words. Rather than testify under oath, he has sued the JGO committee in Superior Court. And though he says he wants a fair trial, he is moving instead to avoid a trial altogether. Governor Torres has yet to answer a single question under oath because he can't. And now that he is facing criminal charges related to the same misconduct that we examined in the House, he won't. His motion to dismiss consists entirely of legal gymnastics, gaslighting, and character assassination. The Governor's Council said my name no less than 30 times in an hour during his presentation on Wednesday. My name appears no less than 60 times in the written motion. Nobody has given me more free, unwarranted media attention than Governor Torres and his council. Senators, what you heard on Wednesday was a lot of deflection and distraction. It was one-sided. You didn't hear the House. You didn't hear the impeachment record. You didn't even hear Governor Torres because he hasn't testified before you. The governor's motion to dismiss hangs heavily on the conflict of interest he alleges I had when I participated in the investigation and when I voted on impeachment. I consulted with several attorneys before and after I accepted the Democratic nomination for governor. There was no conflict for me. The law prohibits public officials from voting on official decisions if they may benefit from the matter under consideration, unless the potential benefit is incidental to that position. And a benefit is incidental if the official receives it by virtue of holding that position. A salary is incidental to a position. That is the case here. However, I am still just a candidate for governor, and we have a long way to go before November. The potential benefit of the governor's salary is not only incidental, it is totally speculative. In other words, I still have to win an election regardless of what happens with Ralph Torres and impeachment. In the meantime, I remain a legislator with a job to do and a constitutional oath to faithfully uphold. And I will continue to do so as long as I'm in office. That said, I appreciate and share Attorney Uggan's confidence in the strength of my candidacy. He talked at length about the financial benefits I would stand to gain when I am elected, but left out an obvious fact. If the Senate votes to remove Governor Torres from office, one person in this chamber would immediately benefit: the Senate President, who would ascend to Lieutenant Governor as the Constitution provides. So why is Mr. Uggan not calling out the Senate President? Why is he not accusing the Senate President of conflict and demanding his recusal? Would it be different if the Senate President was a Democrat? Is there a close familial relationship between the Senate President and the Governor's Council that has not been disclosed? And what about the relationship between Mr. Uggan and his co-counsel, Viola Alapuzu, who helped draft the rules? No conflict there? Maybe just a lot of hypocrisy. Now let's talk about the will of the people.
The conflicts of interest seem to be a major issue, not just for the Democrats, but now also increasingly for the Republicans. Wanted to share this last clip from Senator Paul Manglona, who continues to explain the point that Congresswoman Tina Sablan raised in the CNMI about potential conflicts by CNMI Senate members themselves in this process. So here's Senator Paul.
I know that that's where the council is going because I believe rules are made to be broken. If it's good for us, we follow the rule. Because I remember there was a motion and
Sen Paul, I respectfully ask that we stay within the context of your
Yes,
argument.
yes,
Let's not belittle the proper.
No,
You and I know you've been a presiding officer for a while.
Mr. President, I'm just trying to
ridiculous is motion gini.
Mr. President, I'm trying to make a point where when we were discussing House Bill 2223 on the ARPA, I made a motion, it was seconded, we're discussing it. All of a sudden, the Senate went on a recess, went into session, came out and said, well, the floor leader decides that it's an improper motion. So we have instances where motions are made, seconded, we're under discussion, then we came back into a session, and I guess because the majority have the numbers, they totally ignored the rules. So that's why I said, notwithstanding the rules, can we just get an understanding of these members to go back? Because actually, I have another issue that I want to bring up, Mr. President. In the beginning of the Tuesday,
I'm gonna have to interject. I think we're just belaboring the discussion and we're in a motion, and some of the other members would like to have a chance to discuss. Is that clear?
No, I have another point, Mr. President.
Hold on, Nangya. Hold on. I understand exactly where you're going with this. And the thing of it is even if we want to amend any rule, impeachment rule, Senate rule, it's going to require the members of the Senate in its entirety. And there's not the 9 of us.
Yeah, but I have another point why I'm
wrap up in 1 minute
you,
because I
yes,
need to
I'm going to wrap up. The other point that I want to bring up is, remember on Tuesday's meeting, the very first concern I made was to request the legal counsel to provide a legal opinion on conflict of interest and the rules of necessity. And this is very relevant to moving on to this motion presently before us, because we hear some things today from several of the people providing testimonies, such as conflict of interest, such as yourself, Mr. President. It was pointed out that if this were to proceed, you're going to be lieutenant governor, your salary is going to increase. That was mentioned. You're related to the governor's legal counsel. So why aren't you conflicted, and why is Vinny Sablan conflicted, and why are the other members? So I'm just saying.
I think we're done with your
No, so I have the legal
no,
opinion here.
your time on the floor is yielded. I now recognize Carl Neighbors.
You go, Jason. Senator Hofschneider shutting down one of the other senators, saying his time is up, and perhaps that is the theme of the impeachment trial.
Right.
Whose time will be up?
Outstanding coverage by Tomas Manglona, as always, who has been on top of the impeachment proceedings of one CNMI Governor Ralph Torres ever since the news broke.